We are live.
Evening, everyone. If you would please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you everyone for coming out this evening. As we discussed on Tuesday night, this item is not an easy one for anyone on this council, whether for or against. Unfortunately, the state's put us in a rather difficult position. Or we are to bring this to a vote. Any additional comments from the council? Hearing none. We'll do a reading of the ordinance. Ordinance number 2025-007. An ordinance of the county council, the county of Jefferson, Indiana, imposing a county motor vehicle excise surtax and county wheel tax. Whereas Indiana Code Section 6-3.5-4, the Excise Tax Act, authorizes the fiscal body of the county within the state of Indiana to impose by ordinance an annual county vehicle excise surtax on each vehicle that is subject to the vehicle tax under Indiana Code 6-6-5 and is registered in an eligible county. The eligible county may impose a surtax at a rate of not more than 2% nor more than 10%. So not less than 2%, not more than 10%, or at a specific amount of at least $7.50 and not more than $25 annually on certain vehicles registered in the county. And whereas Indiana Code Section 6-3.5-5, the Wheel Tax Act, authorizes the fiscal body of the county within the state of Indiana to impose by ordinance an annual county wheel tax at a rate of not less than $5 and not more than $40 on certain classifications of vehicles not exempted from the wheel tax and registered in the county. And whereas the Excise Tax and Wheel Tax Act, collectively, the act, each require the excise surtax and the wheel tax to be imposed concurrently. And whereas the county of Jefferson, Indiana, maintains an extensive network of roads and streets and has experienced insufficient revenue necessary to support the safe, all-weather operation and timely repair, construction, and maintenance of the roads and street system within the county. And House Act 1461, signed by Governor Braun, establishes a new road funding formula that directly benefits counties who have adopted the act and strongly encourages counties to share the cost burden of the road network. Whereas the County Council of Jefferson County does deem it necessary to now impose an excise tax and wheel tax in order to generate revenue to support the safe all-weather operation and timely repair, reconstruction, and maintenance of the roads and street systems within the county. Now therefore, be it, and it is hereby ordained by the County Council of the County of Jefferson, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, addition of new chapter, Title 9 shall be amended to add the new chapter 22 entitled Road and Street Motor Vehicle Excise and Wheel Tax, which shall read as follows. Section 9-22-1, County Motor Vehicle Excise Tax Surtax, creation of fund, there is hereby created a county surtax.
Fund, which shall be non-reverting fund, revenues received from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles from taxes imposed under this section shall be deposited into that fund. 2, tax rates effective January 1st, 2026, and in accordance with Indiana Code 6-3-5-10-2, the surtax shall be imposed at the rate of $7.50 for the following. A, passenger motor vehicles. B, motorcycles. C, motor driven cycles. D, collector vehicles. E, except for all a trailer described in Indiana Code 6-6-5-3.5, trailer vehicles with a declared gross weight of 9,000 pounds or less. F, trucks with a declared gross weight of 11 pounds or less. G, mini trucks, or H, military vehicles. 3, vehicles definition. The definitions set forth in Act shall apply to this section. 4, uses of funds. Funds in the county surtax fund may be used for one or more of the following purposes. A, to construct, reconstruct, repair, or maintain streets and roads under the county's jurisdiction. B, for county's contribution to obtain a grant from the local road and bridge matching grant fund pursuant to Indiana Code 8-23-30 or other allowable uses under the code. 5, accounting of fund. On or before October 1st of each year, the treasurer shall provide the county council an estimate of the surtax revenues to be received by the county under this section during the next calendar year. The county shall include the estimated surtax revenues in the county's budget estimate for the calendar year. Section 9-22-2, county motor vehicle wheel tax, county wheel tax. 1, creation of fund. There is hereby created a county wheel tax fund, which shall be a non-reverting fund. Revenues received from the Department of Motor Vehicles from taxes imposed under this section shall be deposited into the fund.
Number 2, tax rates effective January 1st, 2026, and in accordance with Indiana Code 6-3.5-11-2, the county wheel tax shall be imposed at the rate of $5 per vehicle for the following non-exempt vehicles: A, buses; B, recreational vehicles; C, semi-trailers; D, trailers with a gross weight of above 9,000 pounds; or E, trucks and tractors with a gross weight above 11,000 pounds. Number 3, vehicle definitions. The definitions set forth in the act shall apply to this section. 4, use of funds. Funds in the county surtax fund may be used for one or more of the following purposes. A, to construct, reconstruct, repair, or maintain streets and roads for the county's jurisdiction. B, for the county's contribution to obtain a grant from the local road and bridge matching fund pursuant to Indiana Code 8-23-30 or any other allowable uses under the code. 5, accounting of fund. On or before October 1st of each year, the treasurer shall provide the county council an estimate of the surtax revenues to be received by the county under this section during the next calendar year. The county shall include the estimated surtax revenues in the county's budget estimate for the calendar year. Section 9-22-3, repeal and modifications. This ordinance may be repealed and the rates set forth herein may be decreased or increased only in accordance with the act. Section 9-22-4, publication. The treasurer is hereby directed to file a copy of this ordinance with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and the Indiana Department of Revenue as required by the act. Section 9-22-5, conflicting ordinances. Any ordinance or provision of the ordinance of the county of Jefferson in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance is hereby repealed. Section 9-22-6, severability. The invalidity of any section, clause, sentence, or provision of this ordinance shall not affect the validity of any other part of this ordinance, which may be given effect without such invalid parts or parts. Section 9-22-7, effective date. The ordinance shall be in full force and effective after its passage and publication as required by law. That's the end.
Thank you.
Skip the third reading.
We're gonna forego the third reading of the ordinance. With the public comment session on Tuesday and the readings this evening, I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-007 for the county motor vehicle excise, surtax, and wheel tax.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-3. And again, this was not an easy decision, but the structural integrity of our roads in this county, this was made necessary, unfortunately, by the state and their actions. And we would love to have had another option, but no one was walking around wanting to offer us $1 million+ a year. And that's the cold hard facts that without the money, the roads will deteriorate and we'll lose our infrastructure, which also makes Jefferson County a non-desirable place for people to relocate to. We love our community, we love our county, and we want to have the ability for our citizens to be able to travel the road safely and our children on school buses. And so
I would love to add that Tuesday, obviously all of us left. It's stressful, where you put a lot of thought and prayer and of course research, but I really appreciated the public's comments Tuesday. It was great hearing people from both sides, people that knew we needed it, were against it and had valid points. We really appreciate our County Highway Garage superintendent and staff here to provide some additional insight and importance of this. It wasn't just a bashing session on the state level, even though that indeed has put us in a challenging situation. I really appreciated the community's input on Tuesday, whether you were here in person or watching via online. And I hope that community knows we'll continue to kind of speak to legislation about changes that may be needed, as well as probably the most controversial and frustrating piece of this, which is the stacking of the tax. I know I mentioned Tuesday, I'm trying not to use the word double, because if you live in the city's jurisdiction, it's not doubling. They chose to do the highest amount. We chose the lowest, which is $7.50. So it is not being doubled, but that has been the most frustrating part for us, is the stacking, and we wanted to avoid that, and that decision was out of our hands. But as we understand, there are some people in the state that are fighting for that, to have that provision put back in there so that that can change and that can be avoided. And I'll continue to speak my voice so that hopefully that change is made in the future, and we can support those within the city limits. I just wanted to share that.
thank you, Heather. Anyone else have any additional comments this evening? Any public comment before we close out?
Do you really want to hear it?
Absolutely.
I'm just a little confused here about how much money we're losing with the community crossings matching grant. That's not a given amount every year, is it?
It's not a given, but we've been, and Jake, Eric,
You apply for it every year as a grant, but you can get up to $1.5 million if you apply for the grant. As this takes off, if you do not have the wheel tax at all, you are guaranteed not to have $1 million, guaranteed. You are in the running for $500,000, but you are competing against all 92 counties, again, all cities, all towns, all,
For the million?
for $500,000.
Okay, but I got this summary of the community crossings matching grant changes per House Bill 1461.
Mhm.
NDOT will reduce the annual cap from 1.5 million to 1 million per local unit of government per state fiscal year. So that's where we talked about the differences where the state's fiscal years, like June 30th and the other one. So I know that there's a period of time in through here. But the community crossing matching grant will continue to not require a local wheel tax to access the program. And importantly, the entirety of the community crossings fund will continue to exclusively fund local road projects. So if you could have had 1.5 million, how much did you get in grants last year?
1.5.
1.5. How about the year before?
At least 1 million.
Yeah.
1.5, I think this is the first time we had 1.5, but we've received 1 million at least every year for the last 3 or 4, probably.
So we're getting reduced to 1 million, and the other thing that happens with that is your share, your matching grant goes from 25% down to 20% because we're a small community, less than 50,000 people.
Right.
So what I'm saying is this stuff is going to come into next year, but I think you guys jumped the gun. This was like ramrodded. That ordinance was not on your draft ordinances. I couldn't even hear what the ordinance number was, and I think it changed from when you read the first one to here. That's really not what the issue is. But this rush to have to pass this tax right now, because we're gonna lose money, is not true. That's, you may lose it. Now, you could have had 1.5, but there's no guarantee that you're gonna have 1.5. And if you've had $1 million before, and we're going from 1.5 at 25% matching grant, that's a $375,000 match, and we're going down to 1.0 at 20%, that's 200,000. At the most, we would lose, that would be 175,000, so it's not like we're losing $1 million. So that needs to be clarified as to why we have to rush in and pass this tax. This wasn't put up for public discussion. We would have these discussions beforehand. You put it up a week ago. It's not on your website. We have to listen to you, read that in order to find out what's in it. I don't think public's been engaged. I appreciate the fact that you picked the minimum, but only because of the city right there. And nobody wants to pay more taxes. So I'm just saying the timing on this, it looks as though this could have gone into next year. I did probably more research than any of you guys did on this in the last 2 days, and it's not fun. And it's convoluted and it's confusing, and you're passing this tax right now based on incomplete facts. So
Well, we were told by the state very point blankly that if you don't have the wheel tax, first, let me reverse that. If you have the wheel tax, you will get preferential priority on the funding. If you don't have the wheel tax, you will not get preferential funding, which in a quick translation, you don't have a wheel tax, you're not in the running.
that's for the
funding.
extra 500,000. But each county is guaranteed $1 million right now, and you're in.
Not guaranteed.
So
Never
it's a
guaranteed.
grant, it's a grant, so it would be reduced from 1.5 down to 1 million, correct? But you're acting like it-
500,000.
500,000.
You do not have a wheel tax.
But that's not what the code says, so someone's giving you wrong information.
No, it changed from when the House of Representatives passed it, the Senate changed it, and then it went to the government.
So everybody's referencing the House bill where the Senate changed that, and that's where you guys are at. So when did that happen? Was that a couple months ago?
It was right before July 1st.
Okay, because I think this House bill was May, so then the Senate. So why are we doing this the end of August right now?
Well, again, the information was a little muddy and we didn't we thought we had till next July 1st to implement it. And then we found out,
And that's exactly what the House bill says. So that would give you, but you didn't find out about that until
right,
just.
till a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Till the end of July. We found out in July, like coming in July after we met, when we started budgeting, we found out about it. And we had to approve it by September 1st.
But this wasn't, this meeting, the first reading wasn't even advertised until last week.
Obviously, we were hopeful during budgeting.
Part of
we
that
wouldn't
was due to
have do this.
advertising restraints.
Yes.
You can't advertise as soon as I wanted to. So it is hard to get stuff in the newspaper, considering it only publishes twice a week now. So like, for instance, this week I needed something advertised for the first Friday in September and I was late. Because
Holiday.
it's that far
I can
out.
understand,
It's
but
about
we're still
10
talking
days
about
out.
a month in there because the city of Madison, they confirmed their adopted theirs like August 5th. So we're just talking a few weeks. I'm not trying to split hairs. I'm talking about transparency and trying to communicate with the people, because I think we all understand the position we're in, it's the implementation and understanding all of these working parts. And it felt ramrodded at the last second.
I agree with you. I didn't like the timing on myself and I went back and forth with it, but
As council secretary, we have never put our ordinances on the website. I know commissioners do and planning commission does, but that is something that we should probably start doing from any future ordinances. And I'll get
If
with
it's a
Sarah to
draft,
make that
at least a
like a
draft.
draft
And
out
then
there.
once it's passed, then I would assume it would be there, but
Right.
there was no way to review.
Yeah, so historically, we have never published our drafts on the council. And that's probably something we could do better by getting that on the website.
Okay,
And I'll work on doing that.
I would appreciate
Yeah,
that.
not a
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, part of the delay is, as you can understand and appreciate, as convoluted as this whole thing is, was just fact checking down, trying to find out, because when we found out that they were stacking.
Yeah.
Like, the last version we read didn't say anything about that. So we in turn called state representative, who turned around and goes, no, that's not right. He went and pulled the bill, because after it went through the House Senate, they changed it. So that's how convoluted and this whole thing is.
Another thing, so that it is out there, income tax is set to do the same thing in 2028. I would reach out to legislation now because it's already in the works that income tax would be stacked if you live in the city of Madison.
So we talked about
That's the
it.
local income tax? a
Yes,
list?
Yes.
so.
Yeah, that's the state saying.
So read Senate Bill 1, and Senate Bill 1 basically takes away lit as we know it. And everyone has to reestablish every year, and units that have a population over 3,200, I think, are able to establish their own lit, which people will pay in addition. So this is just it's just a heads up that they've already put this in for other taxes as well.
And that should be a notice to the council here to at least try to initiate a joint session with the city and the public so that they can have input as to what's going on. Instead of making their citizens pay. It is a double tax, whether the rates are
Right.
different. It's two taxes for the same thing, and that's not fair to those people that live in the city. I don't live in the city, but this infuriates me, so.
We completely understand and agree that the stacking should never happen. And to Heather's point, again, I encourage everybody here tonight, everybody that's watching this online, pull out Senate Bill 1. You need to read it.
Why would you
need to
do
understand
that?
it. Because what's gonna happen with Senate Bill 1, as it is written the last time I read it, it's a moving target. But that's where your property taxes are gonna come down. The amount is $400-ish. Is that kind of a standard number?
Mhm.
Problem with it is, the state is reducing that. But they're gonna put it back on the counties, back on the cities, back on the townships to recoup that money, to support their schools, to support their roads and everything else. That whatever that reduction is, that $400 per household is gonna end up in a void in the budget. So please read it, understand it, reach out to your state legislators, reach out to the governor. This is not a good plan. It's, as I mentioned Tuesday night, it is literally, like right now, you have a payment taken twice a year out of your right pocket. Spring taxes and fall taxes. The way it's written and worded today, you're gonna go from that to a smaller bill in the spring and the fall. But you're gonna have constant money coming out of your left pocket on every paycheck through local income tax. It doesn't feel right, doesn't smell right. I would encourage you to please reach out to state legislators, because unfortunately, if it doesn't change, it's gonna come here, it's gonna come to the city council. And that's the amount of money that's gonna leave as a vacancy is not attainable without raising the lid.
I encourage you to reach out to Alex Zimmerman and, cause he's our voice from down there. So
He's our state senator.
At the-
Yeah, I know, he's our representative.
Representative.
So who's our state senator? That if it's in the Senate, it's the one that you said it.
Maxwell.
Maxwell,
Mhm.
yeah, Maxwell.
Okay,
And it's
Those
easy,
are the two
it's easy
people.
for the state to lower property taxes because they collect none of it.
so is the Senate bill passed or it's proposed?
It's already passed.
It's been passed, but it's going through radiation.
So it is the final bill that the governor has signed,
Yes.
even though the bill, that House bill I looked at had the governor's signature on it. So I'm gonna have to go look at the Senate. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand which supersedes which one.
Well, I think federally, if the Senate changes it, it has to go back to the House and get
Yes.
passed again.
Yes,
It does.
But it doesn't in state, which was news to me, but
okay. Well, thank you.
And, our representative, Alex, sorry. He is working on, and Dwayne has been in, contact with him quite a bit. And he is working on, writing to get that stack out of there. So we're fingers crossed that that happens. So, I don't know, I don't understand the purpose of that and why somebody would write that in to have, city, you know, people within city limits to be double stacked, or have taxes stacked, I don't understand the purpose.
they
Of
get
that?
they get their portion from us anyway.
Right, I don't understand the
Right.
logic in that.
The money coming to the county will be around $4, so that's $7.50, is that right, Chris?
Roughly, the city will get essentially 16.6% of that. Brooksburg will get 0.16, DuPont will get 0.66, and Hanover will get 4.17% of that $7.50 or $5, depending on the item. So essentially, we will collect in total based on, the vehicles. This is 2002, or sorry, 2022, sorry, too many numbers today. $264,972.05. Of that, the county will actually receive $207,768.06. So $57,200 less.
Can that money also go to pay for your matching grants that you get also?
Yes,
So that would help with that
Mhm.
Yes.
20, the 20.
absolutely. And that's that is another key reason why we want to be able to do this, so we could apply for those, because otherwise the 1.5 million, we wouldn't have the 1.5 million to put up against it.
Well, and we've used casino money as our match
Yes.
forever, and that's a dwindling source
Yeah.
that is not gonna be able to be depended on in the future.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
Does anybody have any idea how much reduction all the agencies in the county was reduced by the state? I've never seen a figure that in total,
For 26, it's about $1 million.
Well, health department alone,
health department alone is over 500,000 just in one of the grants.
and you got Ivy Tech and
We
the
do.
schools. I've never seen the total figure anywhere.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
how
not
much
sure on the
was
school
because
side.
they don't go through they don't,
approval.
Yeah, but you're still gonna have to make up the difference somehow.
Right, yeah,
Schools will have to,
the lit will be part of replacing the money for the schools that's lost in the property tax. Like I said, it is not a good situation, so please reach out to your state representative, state senate, and the governor's office. We got a little bit of time to get this back to shore, so see what we can
We
do.
just request that you guys try to communicate information sessions as this becomes and you get close to these so that the public has a chance to at least engage with you and it isn't that public has to come in and be in an adversarial. We have to understand what's going on
Right,
so that we can
sure.
support you to do it.
I was talking with someone locally, and he. Somebody much younger than me, and he's a financial person, and he said, you know, you can look at it this way, that that your tax dollars that you're generating in your community are now staying here. It's kind of a reverse situation. I said,
Jim Lucas,
huh?
Jim Lucas, oh, you should be happy, you're gaining. local-
No, it was a younger,
Oh.
he's my son's age, and, he lives in our community, does a lot of good works in our community, and I really appreciated his spin on it, because he actually, was looking at it in a different direction.
Okay.
And, I really appreciated his comment, but it is a different way of generating revenue for our county. But it's almost stopping the train and then doing a complete reverse and doing, the revenue streams a different way. But it's the pain that causes everything to change. I don't know.
Representatives were pushing that as a positive because it was transferring those to local control, because you
Mhm.
don't want the state and the
Yes.
feds coming in here.
Yes.
And I can understand.
I
that,
can
but-
too,
But it was touted as all the tax savings from the state and then just changing the pocket, and then you guys are the bad guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It changed from, invisible guys in Indianapolis being the bad guys to your friends and neighbors being the bad guys.
Right.
Yeah. So I appreciate his comment, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's the pain that we feel until the process is over.
I would respectfully say that it took guts to vote yes or no on this. Obviously, I voted no, but, you know, the vote's 4-3, and we have to adhere to the majority. But I'm troubled. I didn't wanna, I don't wanna impose taxes on the city or county at all. And I'm troubled that they'll come back next year and want more.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen, but they could. So, you know, the citizens need to really get engaged in something like this, to keep this from happening again.
Yes.
I didn't get involved with the city when they were voting on their tax because I live in the county. And it never occurred to me that that's going to encompass me too. You know, city tax is city tax, in my opinion. But it did, it encompassed me too, evidently. Did it ever occur to work with the city? A partnership, is it even allowed? That you all could have used a partnership with the city and said, okay, let's put one figure out to everybody. And then we don't have to come back and do this.
We
You
would,
know?
we would have absolutely done that, but there was no olive branch extended this direction to talk about it.
We need to have a joint session every year
Absolutely.
with the city. The county and the city has to have a joint session, in my opinion.
We were at an AIC county meeting when they proposed some changes, which have since changed since then. Literally passing out a postcard, you gotta do this by September 1st. We were literally rolling into budgeting like, okay, first of all, we gotta get a grip on our budget. We gotta see, you know, if we can even give our employees a raise and which departments need more and which need less and what wasn't spent and, you know, we were literally in the middle of our days and hours and hours and hours of budgeting, hoping that we wouldn't even maybe have to go this route. And then bam, what do I hear on WRX? That the city had their first reading of a wheel tax. I didn't know.
Mhm.
I didn't even know. Could I have, when we heard at the county meeting, call to say, hey, are you guys thinking about this too? We literally were, and we knew they were rolling into their budgets also. I had we were a little blindsided, like, whoa, that kind of came out of nowhere fast.
And they knew that it would be a double stack when they voted. That information was disclosed. I watched them. I
Yeah.
wasn't there in person.
And
And they said, and they
the
voted for it
county, their
anyways.
attorney addressed that, that he thought the kid, yeah. And literally Dwayne was even at that time on the phone with thinking, whoa, let's verify this.
Yes.
Yeah, it all happened, pretty quick.
Usually government goes slow.
Yeah, now when it comes to getting money. then-
Yeah.
Any other comments from the audience or from council?
I know it was a very difficult decision for each of you to make, regardless of which direction you voted, and we all appreciate what you have had to go through mentally and emotionally to make this decision. And, you know, it doesn't matter what side you're on, it's a tough decision, but we know that the state put you in a tough spot, so I personally thank you all for the tough decision you had to make.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I will comment, I think, I went back and forth, I talked to Dwayne over the weekend and I was an absolute no, and then I came back and I think I surprised him when I was out, I voted yes, I think. One of the things I keep going back to is, I thought about the roads, being closed this year. And we had so much road damage, and Jason was constantly keeping up with repairing roads and having to change where he was maintaining roads, just changing his plan for his road repairs this year. And I saw his budget change all constantly. And then we had the flood. And I just thought, my gosh, and then we had a bad winter and the salt and getting those kids to and from school and keeping the roads safe. And I thought, if we do not keep our roads safe and have road repair, that's an infrastructure that we can't do without. And then our guys that are out there doing calls, and they're out there in the middle of the night, and we have, potholes and different things in the roads, and if those roads aren't safe and someone has an accident, and then we haven't done our proper due diligence to maintain a budget in that road, and we're not maintaining those roads, and we could have done something, that falls on my shoulders to
And
make those good
bridges.
decisions, and they are hard decisions
Another.
sometimes. So,
And I ran a conversation too about the bridges, what is slotted, and
Yeah.
those are the county's responsibility, and then this is not a chip and seal mile that costs this many thousands of dollars, this is millions. That's been nauseating as well, knowing what's coming in the near future in the next couple of years for bridge.
and I know times are tough for people, I understand that. So,
We gotta pay them too. That's-
right,
I don't want.
so,
don't like
I
paying-
take it to
I don't
heart,
like paying taxes, but.
so I didn't wanna get emotional, but.
At the minimum.
you
I know.
can-
Yeah, and that's where we went. That's why we went the way we did.
Just a suggestion, that this, what you call local tax is coming in 27, you said, 28?
Yeah, the income,
Don't wait for the olive branch. Reach out to the city first and
Yes.
say, hey, we know what's coming.
at least we
Let's
know about
work
this
together.
ahead of
Yeah,
time.
yeah, we know
Let's
this.
work together. Let's make this one pill for people to swallow.
Totally
and be
agree.
done with it.
I agree. And as I mentioned, that's been changing little bits and pieces, so we're trying to keep an eye on it to see where it's going, but yeah, definitely early next year, hopefully it starts to solidify a little bit, and then we can have that conversation to figure out the path forward. I personally, I just want to thank everyone that came Tuesday night, everybody that's here tonight, everybody that's at home that couldn't make it out. It's tough. It's tough to sit on this side of the table, as has been mentioned, whether it's yes or no. Sometimes it's easy for all of us to be the Monday morning quarterback, but sometimes, somebody has to play in the game, so appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the county highway garage employees. They're kind of unsung heroes of the community, because unfortunately, the biggest feedback they get is my road's bad or something. But these guys out there, if they weren't out there, clearing off the sides of the roads and keeping the branches back and keeping the ditches cleared and keeping the roads chip and sealed or paved or maintaining the gravel roads, Jefferson County would be a really tough place to navigate. So we appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Robert, you always have something.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, I would like to add, I guess, to Chris, of course, also being here, I'm part-time at the emergency management and to compliment the county highway. When I was out doing roads for the flood, I went down Brushy Fork, of all places to go. And I seen a county employee stop and talk to him. They're so short on equipment a lot of times. He was taking the bush hog, it goes sideways, and he made it where he could move debris up out of them ditches to keep them clear. I'd never seen that before. But the big Chad knew what he was doing with that bush hog, because he was clearing that ditch and he went all the way down Brush Hog that way. they're cleaning that out, so I mean, it's stuff that I see when I'm out, that a lot of times don't get brought to public, I would do relate to Jason. Or to me, Mater, but, it was excellent to see somebody to take the ingenuity to take a piece of equipment to try to keep the roads cleared due to the flooding we had out there the previous years.
Thank you.
So that was very, a lot of people, probably the first time you heard that story, but he was actually.
And they did do a good job.
And Jason, just remind us, how many road miles are there in Jefferson County?
530.
530.
University.
And the county is also, I guess you would say, that's bridges in the city, the county has to pay for that, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Anything 20 foot and over is a bridge.
Yeah, the West End Bridge, the
West End
Railroad Bridge.
Yeah.
It'll
Going
be
up
$8 to
56.
$10 million today.
And it's gonna be doing here.
There's a lot of things, underlying things people don't know about,
Right.
or that they seen, but I always knew that.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Hearing nothing else, so entertain a motion.
Second.